Hi, I'm Sheila Bristow, the organist and choir master here at Church of the Redeemer in Kenmore, Washington. Today we're continuing a series examining hymn preludes for the organ. And for today I have a wonderful hymn that's from the season of Advent. Advent is those mysterious 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, and there are a whole lot of themes that come up in the music and readings, wildly diverse, from being extremely penitential and stark to awaiting the coming of the bridegroom or the monarch in majesty. And we're kind of going towards that side in the hymn I've chosen today. In the Episcopal hymnal, it's called Sleeper's Wake, A Voice Astounds Us. Other translations might say Wake Awake. The German is Wachet auf, which means more like get up, wake up. It's not sleepers awake, it's get up. It's one of those call to attention. And this is a beautiful chorale, which was written a generation before Bach, but it's Bach's harmonization. So here's number 61 in the hymnal, Sleeper's Wake. So this chorale setting has some of the characteristics of Bach's harmonizations, which I mentioned in an earlier episode, one of which is a very active bass line. Many more notes to it than the melody has, more often changes in pitch, really big skips. Let me just play the melody and bass line together for you so you catch that. Here's just the first couple phrases. Outer voices sounds like this. To do. It's very fancy, and then the inner parts respond to that kind of complexity. Interestingly enough, the Chorale Prelude that I'm about to play by Bach on this tune has a very simple bass line. And we're in a different key, but I'll just start with the bass line for you so you can imagine the keys we go along. It's very plain. About as plain as you can get, really, and change chords. And unlike some other harmonizations he and other composers have written, he keeps the melody extremely simple as well. It's almost exactly like in the hymnal. One of the reasons for that is this is an arrangement Bach made of his own music he'd written for a cantata. And a cantata is a big multi-movement work for chorus, sometimes vocal soloists, orchestra, or chamber ensemble. And so he wrote that elaborate piece and then took one of the movements and rejiggered it for organ. And this is in the trio texture we talked about before. So my left hand has the melody, right hand has another tune, and then there's that simple bass line. But the melody in the cantata, the original version, would have been sung by the tenors of the choir, and he spared them from too many runs in this particular movement. And so it's pretty simple except for a little fanciness at the end. Here's what it sounds like when the tune comes in and with the pedal line. trill at the end, which tells you it's the end of a phrase, and whoever's playing or singing gets to sing out and show off a little bit at the termination of the phrase. So those are the two layers, fairly uncomplicated, but the genius of Bach is that in a number of his chorale settings, he creates an entirely different piece. And somehow the melody just gets woven in the middle of it. You don't even suspect it from the beginning because the other tune that he writes is so amazing that you think that's the melody of the piece. And you already know one of these pieces probably, which sounds like this. Jesu Joy of Our Desiring, you may have heard from time to time, weddings and choirs. That's also a cantata movement. That's not the actual tune. That is the chorale melody comes in later. But again, it's a wonderful, wholly original piece that he creates to frame a simple melody. Same thing is true on Wachet. So I'm going to play the whole thing for you now. Thank you for listening.